This is the solution to the problem situation on the video. So basically, the problem situation was to develop a suspension system and a viable suspension system. And the first step to being able to do that was to model or understand our system and model it. So basically, we isolated both our masses and we drew the forces that interact with it. And using Newton's second law, we were able to derive expressions that tell us how the forces interact with each other. And from that, we were able to derive a state vector. And from the state vector, we were able to derive a state space model, all by knowing it's really important to understand our model in order to be able to actually create a state space model. And from the state space model, we were able to basically derive an input to get the output that we desired. So in this case, it would have been acceleration and position of the mass too. And on the left side, we have a MATLAB code that was given to us by our professor, and we just inputted our information and our mass variables that you want. So, anyways, well, I didn't skip the spot. And simulink build. This is our simulink build. This was also given by professor. We just inputted our values, and the road disturbance is what we're going to be testing, and what I already tested. And basically, I just increased it by from 0.25 to 5 to 1 to 2.5. And we see here the displacement, and obviously right off the bat we can see the displacement increases. Why? I mean, this is kind of obvious why. I mean, we have a bump, and so obviously the displacement is going to increase. And yeah, as the road disturbance gets higher, the displacement also gets higher. So there's that correlation. And this is really, I mean, this is very obvious for us, but it's really important to get a value on it. And we're able to do that with simulations. And right here, I'm just noticing that the y component is missing. So I'll probably add that in the presentation and when I turn it in. So here is the acceleration. Obviously, this also makes sense. The acceleration is not going to change much because we're going over a bump, and the acceleration, it's kind of like almost like crashing if you think about it that way, and it's just going up. But yeah, that kind of also makes sense. And here we have a semi-state space model, or a semi-active system. And basically what a semi-active system is well, you have it's going to be controlled by a actuator, and it's going to rely heavily on the velocity of the two masses. And basically, yeah, you have a closed loop system with sensors telling you the velocities of our masses, and that's going to input a signal to our controller, and that controller is going to send a force to a signal to our actuator. It's going to send a force to our damper system to simulate a damper. And I'm guessing the way you would do this in a state space system would just be adding another input that depended only on the velocities of the masses. And that's my thought process behind that. The main advantages and disadvantages of simulations like this is mainly our like preconceived idea of what's going to happen. Like I said, like when we simulate something, we kind of have an idea of what's going to happen, and that's kind of dangerous because we're supposed to be getting new information, and if we're only looking for information that we know what's going to happen, we're kind of missing the whole point. But at the same time, we're also getting values. Like I said, like I knew the wheel was going to increase, the displacement was going to increase as the road disturbance increased. So, but it's important to also add a value to that. But it's just important to know that you have to constantly be looking deeper. Well, the work was organized. I had two different teams. The first team, basically, it was just investigate what the different suspension systems. I investigated the active suspension system. And then the second one, it was the simulation, and I helped in creating the state space model. And in this video, well, I just simulated the disturbances and whatnot. And I guess the achievement that I value the most was kind of like, I feel like I'm starting to understand this. Like if you would have showed me this in first semester, it would have been like a different language to me. But now it's like it's all starting to make sense. The simply like our models are we have to understand how they work, but if we understand how they work, we can model them pretty well. Linear like obviously if we create a linear model for it, we can model how they're going to react, and I think that's really powerful. I'm definitely excited to be able to apply that to different systems I'll be working with in the near future. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it.